Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
An armed man in a hospital ICU shooting staff, taking hostages, a terrifying ordeal in what's supposed to be a place of healing. But tonight it's not overshadowing the bravery that put an end to that violence.
We saw the very best and the very worst of humanity.
Tonight, the gunman who shot staff and took hostages is dead, but so is one of the police officers who confronted him. And we've learned that that fallen officer, Andrew Duarte, was a 2016 graduate of Cal U here in our area. We'll share how the university is remembering him in a moment. But first, the latest on that shooting itself. It happened at UPMC Memorial Hospital. That's in York County. Channel 11's Antoinette Delbel is live now on the breaking news desk tonight. And Annie, we're learning more about how law enforcement stopped this gunman.
Rich, yes, Governor Josh Shapiro is calling it the act of a coward. Authorities say 49-year-old Diogenes Archangel Ortiz was armed with a pistol and carrying zip ties when he stormed into the hospital ICU this morning. He held staff members hostage and shot a doctor, a nurse, and a custodian when police breached the ICU. The York County District Attorney says the gunman was holding a female staff member at gunpoint. Her hands were tied together with zip ties. That's when police opened fire. The gunman was killed, but 3 of the officers were shot, including Officer Duarte, who did not survive. York County's district attorney and Governor Shapiro praised the courage of law enforcement.
It is absolutely clear and beyond any and all doubt that the officers were justified in taking their action and using deadly force.
I know that because of their work, lives were saved today here at UPMC Memorial.
Everyone wounded or injured today is in stable condition tonight. As for a motive, facts are still being gathered, but the DA mentioned that the gunman had previous contact with the ICU earlier in the week for something, quote, involving another individual, and that he specifically targeted the workers there. Live on the breaking news desk, Antoinette Delbel, Channel 11 News.
All right, Annie, thank you so much. And as we mentioned a few moments ago, Officer Andrew Duarte was a 2016 graduate of Cal U. The university shared this statement with us, quote, "We mourn the loss of Andrew Duarte, who was a valued member of our Penn West, California alumni family. We extend our deepest condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues, and we join them in remembering his dedication and service." Duarte joined the West York Borough Police Department back in 2022. That was after 5 years with the Denver Police Department in Colorado. On his LinkedIn profile, he described receiving a Hero Award in 2021 from Mothers Against Drunk Driving for his work in impaired driving enforcement for the state of Colorado. York County's DA paid tribute to Duarte.
May he rest in peace. Job well done, life well served.
And Officer Duarte's colleagues on the West York Police Force sharing this statement tonight, quote, "Our hearts break at the innocent loss of life," and adding, quote, "Our community grieves the loss of a hero." Also breaking news tonight, the health of Pope Francis has taken a turn for the worse. He's now listed in critical condition. The Vatican says he suffered a long asthmatic respiratory crisis earlier today. It required high flows of oxygen. The Pope also got blood transfusions after tests showed low counts of platelets. He's been hospitalized for just over a week with pneumonia. The Vatican now describes his prognosis as, quote, reserved. Meantime, police in the city of Pittsburgh searching for an 11-year-old girl who went missing. Dariah Preston last seen at her home in East Allegheny on the north side right around 8:30 p.m. yesterday. She was last seen wearing gray sweatpants, a gray hoodie, a black coat, and black sneakers. Now let's head outside to a check of the weather, a live look here at downtown Pittsburgh tonight. Certainly a relief to put that bitter cold behind us. Really chilly out there, especially once the sun goes down. But Stephanie, the warm up is here. How long is this going to last?
Rich, it's going to last a couple of days and through the week. We have a pattern switch going on, but we will get cold tonight. We're already 4 to 8 degrees, slightly warmer than we were last night at this time, but we are dipping down into the 20s. And so all of us now under the freezing mark. 30 in Pittsburgh, Latrobe at 27, Butler at 27 as well, and Uniontown at 26. And those numbers will continue to fall with a few passing clouds right now. We'll start to see clouds build back in the forecast for the second half of the weekend, but wind chills still a factor. We do have those wind chills in the lower 20s and upper teens, and that's actually where our overnight lows will sit to kick off the day tomorrow, and still wind chills a factor in the forecast as you step outside Sunday morning. But at least we're quiet. The snow showers have shut off for us here now, and so we will have a dry second half of the weekend as well. But we are going to be just a few degrees warmer as we head into the start of the work week, and we're also going to see the chance of rain through the week as well. I'll time that out for you here coming up.
All right, Stephanie, thanks so much. It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh, but really, it's so much more. The Penguins playing for the first time since the loss of legendary announcer Mike Lange. For everyone in attendance tonight, it was more than just a game.
Thank you, Mike. Lord Stanley, get me the brandy. Slap me silly Sydney. Fans and players converging at PPG Paints Arena, not just for a hockey night in Pittsburgh, but to honor a true legend in Mike Lange. Displays throughout the arena, the players wearing a signature headset and microphone on their helmets, and fans sharing their love with signs and stories like Ashley Gallagher, who once did a job shadow with Phil Bourque and Mike Lange.
Oh, you can't even describe it. I mean, just hearing on the radio isn't even anything of what he was like in real life. Just a larger-than-life personality.
Broadcasting friends lining up to pay tribute. Joe Brand, Josh Getzoff, Eddie Olczyk, Paul Staggerwald, and the old 2-Niner, Phil Bourque.
Mike's sons, Tanner and Ian, along with Tanner's wife, Sarah, and their son, Owen, and Ian's wife, Lily.
They were joined by his sons and their families as the tribute played.
When I think of Mike Lange, I think of just somebody on the team. Special guy, and he made for great listening and for great memories for so many people.
Walking again, finds a loose puck.
And after the tribute, a simple yet emotional sign from his son Ian as he wiped away a tear. Thank you, Pittsburgh.
While his passing brings a sadness that cannot be overstated, we know he would rather we celebrate his legacy and the role he played in creating Penguins hockey memories that will last forever.
We'll sure miss him. Fans also had a chance to take photos with Lange's legendary headset inside the arena. Developing news now tonight, growing tension over the handovers of Israeli hostages in Gaza. Israel says the planned release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners is now delayed until the next release of hostages. Israeli officials are upset over what they describe as, quote, humiliating ceremonies during the release of 6 hostages earlier today. They're the final living captives slated for release under the first phase of that ceasefire agreement between Hamas and Israel. Hamas and its allies still hold 63 Israeli hostages, and at least 32 of those are believed to be dead. Allegheny County Police investigating tonight a shooting in Rankin that left one person hurt. Officers were called to Kenmar Avenue just before 1:15 this morning, where they found a man with a gunshot wound to his shoulder. Anyone with information is being asked to contact county police. First responders in Westmoreland County called to just outside Mount Pleasant early this morning for a vehicle crash into a utility pole. You can see the pole on the car there. Responders got that call around 4:30. They were warned that wires were down. The driver was injured in that crash and taken to a hospital. We have no word yet tonight on that person's condition. Well, it is one of the most high-profile mysteries in our area. Tonight, people marking 40 years since an 8-year-old girl vanished. Before joining us on the Breaking News Desk tonight, Channel 11's Antoinette Delbel spoke to family and friends still holding on to hope. They'll find out what happened to Cherry Mahan.
Many people have been coming in and out of here all day long, all with the same goal, to find Cherry and bring her home, like this flyer says. State police have been talking to people here, getting more tips and leads. Some of them they've already looked into, but they say they're all holding out hope that they will find her. These photos are the memories of Cherry Mahan her mother holds dearly. Janice McKinney is still haunted by unanswered questions about what happened to her little girl 40 years ago to the day.
Nobody understands how much that I would love to have my daughter back in my life.
On February 22, 1985, Cherry mysteriously disappeared near her home in rural Butler County after getting off the school bus. There's been no trace of the 8-year-old ever since. And even after 4 decades of exhaustive searches, tips, and leads turned up empty, her mom has never given up hope.
Never, never. Not until I have a bag of bones. Not until I have that child standing in front of me. And I know that she's not a child, but until I know for sure, I'm never giving up.
Friends, family, and even strangers packed the VFW in Saxonburg Saturday to try to breathe new life into a case that's gone cold.
It's good they're shining light on it, and let's bring her home. All we want to do is, bring closure to her.
Trooper Jim Long says they're still actively investigating every lead they get.
It's been decades, so the information that we have, a lot of it is the same information we've had before, misidentification of vehicles, things like that. So the more time passes, obviously the more difficult it gets.
As for Cherry's mom, the hole in her heart from losing her daughter might never be filled, but she still pushes on.
Somebody out there knows something, and I do believe somebody is going to tell somebody, and that is just my hope and my plea.
And state police say there is nothing new in the case, but they are asking anyone with information on Cherry's disappearance to call state police Butler's Barracks. In Butler County, Antoinette Delbel, Channel 11 News.
Those who are interested in furthering the cause of social and racial justice were invited to the 27th annual Pittsburgh Racial Justice Summit today. It happened at the CCAC campus on the north side. This year's theme, People, Power, and Progress, with a focus on community engagement. The summit included panel discussions and keynote addresses, and in the end, sought to ask attendees what they learned and where they can put it into practice.
There's just a lot of energy that brings people from all over the city and different parts of the region together to say, like, hey, what are the needs that are out there that we can help meet together?
The hope is to connect more people with community-based organizations, getting them involved in social justice work in the city, county, and western part of the state. Reason for a Reason, the great cause that convinced thousands of people to take the plunge. And new at 11, an SNL 50 curse? The comedy legend suggesting just that less than a week after the big 50th anniversary show.